Welcome, Dostoevsky lovers. Here is some guidance on one of the most complex books from Dostoevsky. Since you are here, you have probably read Dostoevsky before. Maybe Crime and Punishment or the Brothers Karamazov. You know how he writes, the intensity, the psychology, the humor. You know what it feels like to read him. But Demons is different, believe me. It's not just another Dostoevsky novel, not just another tormented man, not just another crime and its consequences. It's not just another search for redemption. This one is wider, colder, and more dangerous. Because here, it's not just a person that breaks. It's a whole world. Before we read a single page, we need to understand what kind of object this novel is. Not a slow Victorian novel, not a political pamphlet, not a psychological case study, though it contains all three. Demons is a pressure machine. It does not begin when the plot begins. It begins before that, in relations, in absences, in things that have already failed. This module is the key that opens it. Dostoevsky gives us two epigraphs, not decoration, not context, a system. The first, Pushkin. A troika in a snowstorm, moving forward, but no one knows where. The driver cannot see, the passengers cannot name what surrounds them. Something is there, pulling, misleading, unclear. The second, the Gospel of Luke. A possessed man is healed. The forces leave him and enter a herd of swine. The swine rush into the water and drown. Now, hold the two images together. Movement without sight, transfer without understanding, and consequences that follow. For Dostoevsky, the question is not symbolic. It is structural. What happens when movement continues, but those within it no longer know what drives it? The word busy is usually translated as demons, but it does not mean monsters. It means the possessed. Those who carry something inside them that is not theirs. The novel is not about evil appearing. It is about something entering. Ideas, political, philosophical, spiritual, become dangerous at a specific moment, when they detach from the life that once gave them weight. When belief dies, but the language remains, then the idea does not disappear, it continues. It speaks, but now it speaks through someone. It colonizes a person and goes on speaking in their voice. The demons do not exist on their own, they require hosts. This novel is about that transfer. Readers enter this novel through different doors. Door 1 opens a society novel. You see salons, gossip, absurdity, and you think this is social satire. Door 2 opens a political novel. You see conspiracies, manifestos, cells, and you think this is ideology. Door 3 opens a psychological novel. You see Stavrogin, obsession, inner collapse, and you think this is character. Each reading is correct. Each reading is blind. Each door tells the truth, but only about one layer of the lie. Dostoevsky builds the novel so that each frame undermines the others. The comedy prepares the horror. The ideas hollow out the people. The people make the ideas lethal. You cannot choose one lens. You have to hold all three and feel them interfere. You are not alone. Almost every first-time reader reports the same experience when reading Demons, including me. The beginning feels slow, fragmented, full of names, past events, uncertain tone. And then, suddenly, everything accelerates. The novel turns violent, irreversible. The slowness is not failure, it is preparation. Dostoevsky is not telling a story yet. He is assembling a system. Every character introduced is a node. Every anecdote is a connection. Every tone shift is calibration. So if you read only casually, you miss the structure that is forming. If you see the structure first, the first 150 pages are not slow. They are already unstable. This is the question the novel builds. Not states, but builds. What makes a world available to destruction? Not invasion, not sudden revolution. Internal availability. Dostoevsky constructs an answer, and it has at least 4 layers. Layer 1, a society where belief no longer binds, where institutions exist but do not hold. Layer 2, a generation that inherits words such as progress, freedom, humanity, but not the inner necessity that once gave them meaning. Layer 3, a vacuum at the center. A place where authority should stand, but does not. And then, layer 4, a figure appears in that space. Not by force, by need. That figure is Stavrogin. Stavrogin does not act. He does not argue, he does not build. And yet everything forms around him. Each character needs him to be something. A prophet, a witness, a ruler, a husband, a redeemer. And Stavrogin gives each of them just enough to sustain that belief, without believing any of it. He's not empty in the sense of lacking. He is empty in the sense of not needing. He reflects, and worse, he does not need what he reflects back to others. He's like a mirror at the center of a social system that does not stabilize this system. Instead, he accelerates it. This is the promise. You will not read this novel as confusion followed by shock. You will read it as pressure. You will see what is forming before it acts. You will recognize the comedy as instability, the conversations as positioning, the silences as structure. And when the novel breaks, it will not feel sudden. It will feel inevitable. This course is not a summary and analysis of all chapters. Instead, each module removes one illusion about the novel. We begin with the relations, because in Demons nothing exists on its own. Everything is defined by how it connects, distorts, and depends. Then Piotr, the one who turns those relations into movement, the operator of the system. Then the ideologies, not as background but as forces that can take hold and begin to act. Then Stavrogin, the center those forces gather around, not a character in the usual sense, but the space everything fills. From there, the system accelerates. Infection, spread, escalation, until it reaches its breaking point. The event, the fire, and then consequence. Violence, collapse, aftermath. At the end, we step back. What Dostoevsky is actually doing and how to read a novel so you can see the system from the beginning. Because this is not a novel you simply follow. It is one you return to with a clearer sense of what was already in motion. Dostoevsky was not writing a warning about politics. He was writing a diagnosis. Not who are the demons, but how do they become possible? The answer is not historical, it is structural. When belief collapses but language remains. When people inherit ideas they do not inhabit. When a center is needed but cannot be grounded. Something enters. And it does not announce itself as destruction. It appears as purpose. The demons are not outside the world. They are inside the people who believe they act in its name.